I bought this original Game Boy on eBay. Seller said that it doesn't have any power, and that's all they knew about it. Let's test it and see what we learn. I will say, looking at the corrosion on these battery posts, yeah, it's probably not gonna power on. That's not a surprise. There you go. I mean, the rest of them look, what was that? Well, I think I'm gonna get the lighting right, but oh, there it is. Yeah, that's corrosion in there. All right, let's get this thing apart. Oh, nice. What is it with people having the extension cable cover, but not the battery cover? You know, if we get this guy working, we will be over halfway done with the Play It Louds. I don't think I'm ever gonna get my hands on a broken blue or white. Yeah, that's in the PCB a little bit. I'm really worried because on the other side of this pin, we've got that ribbon cable. Let's start off with the side that's a little bit less scary. Man, this guy's clean. Look at that switch. I mean, there's a little bit of corrosion here on this battery post. And there's a bit on the back. Game pins look good. This guy feels fine. Yeah, so I don't see any corrosion on this board really. I mean, I've got a bit here on this copper panel. And you know what? It just wants to wipe away. So yeah, it looks like the only thing I need to do on this board is pick away some of this corrosion. I don't even think I need to replace the battery post. And then the other boards on here look perfectly fine. Now let's get this guy free and see if the corrosion's gone all the way through. This is the cleanest shell we've worked on by a lot. I don't see much debris hanging around the bottom of it. I don't see a ton of scratches on the inside. These screws do not look like somebody's been in here before. I say that now. Let me see if I strip one and then maybe I'll change my mind. I mean, look at that D-pad. This thing's really not been used. Somebody just put batteries in it, forgot all about it, and it ended up here on my desk. Oh, I'm so scared to look. It's all over the pins, man. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna start off by working on this side. I see a little bit of corrosion in here underneath the ribbon cable. Obviously the clip, the pins has something going on. I wanna make sure that these traces are all good. And just kind of get this stuff cleaned away. So I'm gonna start working on this side because this is the side that'll tell me if this board is any good or not. I'll start off with a pick, and right here on this retention clip is where I'll start. I say it in every video and then I cut it in every video. I'm literally just resting my pick on here. I'm not applying any pressure at all. I really want to see these pins get cleaned up. I think that's good enough. So now we can work here. So this corrosion actually isn't touching anything that's an electrical component. So you might think it's fine, but it's not. See, leaving the corrosion on the board permits it to spread. So we have to get it off so that we don't cause further issues. Because yeah, it's not currently touching any electrical components, but look at how close it is right here, right? Judging by the way this is behaving, I think I've chipped away all that wants to come off. So now we give it a really good clean. And now I'm just gonna go around the board, make sure that the rest of it is as clean. And then on this one, I said that I just need to scrape away some of this corrosion. So we're gonna do that with one of these metal picks. Since it's the coiled dude, I'm actually gonna use some vinegar. All I wanna do is just get this guy in the vinegar. You guys aren't gonna get a good angle on that. So you just gotta trust me that it's happening. Let them soak in the vinegar for a little bit, and most of that corrosion came right off, but still some there, so we're just gonna scrape the rest of it away. And then I just wanna make sure that dries, so I'm gonna wash it out with isopropyl alcohol. Isopropyl alcohol dries much quicker than vinegar does, so it will displace other liquids as it goes, and then dry very quickly on its own. I'm just gonna make sure that, again, this board gets a really good scrub, and then I'll do the same thing on this side. There's almost always a buildup of flux right here, sometimes the battery posts, and sometimes also up here. Just make sure that we get that off. Doesn't hurt anything, but it doesn't look very pretty. And sometimes if somebody's worked on the board before, that flux can be really tacky. All right, so there's our corroded boy. Now, he's presumably beyond saving, because I can even see rust there on the negative post. But I've got the vinegar right there, so we might as well drop him in. I'm gonna say he probably doesn't want to be salvaged today. So we'll swap him out with a different one. Now that we got everything clean, we are good to reassemble him. See if that battery post was all we needed to do. Why am I like this? And then, of course, y'all, what am I doing? Wouldn't be complete without a black game. Oh, this is bad. What? Is that the game or the console? Uh-oh. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna isolate which board has the fault, and then that'll make my life easier. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see if it was the power board. So it has something to do with my screen board. I mean, those traces didn't look good. It doesn't look like any of the capacitors are currently leaking. This resistor looks the same as it always does. So it's got to be these traces then, right? Let's start testing continuity everywhere that I can think of and see if that makes the problem clear to me. Well, unfortunately, I did find my multimeter, and it had nothing but bad news. After getting a better look at these pins, I decided just to test continuity. And even on the pin itself, I don't have continuity. We can see that these pins are just corroded straight through. So if I rest here and I rest here, no beep. And you can see that that's even lifted up. It's not soldered down at all. So I'm gonna call this unfixable. I mean, maybe there's a world where I could apply some fresh solder. It's just so many of them. I mean, this top one's good. Why do you have to make me look bad in front of my friends? Yeah, these are okay. Because this trace runs down to the speaker. This trace runs up to a capacitor, but oh, yeah, there you go. Now you can see it. It's just been corroded straight through. So I have to call this unfixable and just accept that it is what it is. I mean, it got corroded straight through, and so I bought this Game Boy that had been melted, and I was hoping that the damage was going to be worse, because that would have been fun, but the damage is actually super minimal. So the shell back here is bowed, so like getting games in and out kind of sucks. And then there's this. And then on the screen itself, the polarizer, at least I hope that's the front polarizer, seems to have been burned. That's it though. I mean, the thing actually works. It can read games, it has sound, all the buttons work. So I have the sound turned down right now. I promise it has sound. Here's the deal. I can make a video where I revive this melted Game Boy, which literally just means I probably just put it in a new shell. That's kind of boring for both you and me. So instead, what I'd rather do is another boring thing that brings me more satisfaction. This is a CPU 08, which is great for modding. So I'm doing a really good job at explaining this. Okay, so this is CPU 08, which has got the best sound quality. So if you want to make music on a Game Boy, that's what you want to use. And at some point, I figure we might want to mess with that. Or maybe not. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But regardless, that means that at some point, I'm going to want to do something to this. If I'm going to change the shell anyways, I probably want to get an IPS ready shell, put an IPS screen on this, do a whole thing in the future. So that's my plan. If I'm doing that anyways, this screen board is going in the trash. I might as well use this thing to save another failed project I've got. So for you guys, this is all in continuity, and you're about to see me just take this out and put it in the black Game Boy. For me, this has been like a couple weeks, but that's what we're gonna do. So the black Game Boy still has some life in him because he's not a CPU 08, so I'm not gonna go out of my way to mod him. And you know, I'm a collector. I want all the different colored plastics. That's how people know I'm a good gamer. So I'm gonna do exactly that. And I think it's even more fitting because these two guys came together. They came from the same seller. So, of course they should be married to each other. I really expected whatever melted this to bring some more fun. But no, I just have a cracked battery panel, a cartridge area that is a little stiff, and a silly looking front. Which there's some charm to all that, don't get me wrong. But assuming this power board is in good shape, this thing's definitely just gonna get modded. Let me know down in the comments below if you'd like to see modded consoles on the channel. I brought it up previously in the PS1 video, but I'm gonna bring it up, or maybe that's in the future. Oops. Wouldn't you like to know? Anyways, I'm bringing it up again, because I'm gonna be doing modding, and if you guys wanna see that, we can do that. Why is this thing so fuzzy? Ugh, why did I touch it? Why did I touch it? I knew what it looked like, I knew what it'd feel like. This board's in beautiful condition, on the other hand. This brings me great joy. This might not be a satisfying result for you guys. You probably want me to be a real man and go and figure out exactly what's wrong with that board and replace the screen, but look, I am a failure, all right? I've tried to replace screens multiple times, and you guys are never gonna get to see it because they've failed over and over again. I don't understand how low melt solder is supposed to work. It's not working for me. I'm kind of stupid. I tried doing it without the low melt solder and just a solder wick. I don't know why I thought that would work. It didn't. I could use my hot air station for once. Frankly, I'm terrified of melting that ribbon cable. And there's there's the plastic housing that the screen actually rests on. And I'll just destroy that too while I'm at it. So we're gonna not do any of that. Instead, I'm gonna take like 3 hours cleaning this polarizer up just to find out that the damage isn't actually the polarizer. And I've done this for no reason. And this screen is bad too. I mean, the blue doesn't really bother me. I can't hardly see it. The board is gonna need a proper clean. I don't know why it's so dusty. I'll get you guys a good angle on that. It's just dust. Oh, that's new. That hasn't happened before. Why is it happening now? Come out. Oh, the shell melted. This is probably warped. Now, the speaker itself is fine. Good enough for me. I think this is my last polarizer, so I better not mess this up. So to start, we just have to get the blade underneath this very top plastic layer, just like this. If you guys have watched my other videos, you've probably seen me do this a couple times now, with varying levels of success. And I ruined it. I don't think the screen will work now. There is no way. I'm gonna test this right now. We're not gonna go any further until I confirm that this screen still works. Okay. All right, screen still functions. Now with that started, I'm not gonna use the razor blade at all. Other people use the razor blade. Other people are better at this than I am though. When I've done this in the past using the razor blade the whole way, I scratch the screen. I prefer to peel it off once I get it started with the razor blade. I've also found that peeling it leaves less adhesive behind. Yeah, so you can see where I was using the knife. It'll have quite a bit of adhesive, but not nearly as much as I've been peeling. Once that's been removed, next thing you want to do is you want to see the condition of the screen. And so what we're looking at is this blue area right here. This area is from whatever melted this Game Boy. If we look at the gray right now, that's actually the rear polarizer. That's the reflective layer that makes light bounce back so you can actually see the pixels. That doesn't have a visible burn on it, so it's not the rear polarizer that's damaged. That blue that's right there also wasn't from that front polarizer. Somebody must have melted pixels, or I don't know what actually causes that. Maybe future Matt will explain that in a bit more detail so that there's more content. Future Matt will explain what causes that. It's actually caused by heat applied directly to the LCD. You see, once the liquid crystals that are between the two LCD panels get warm enough, they actually can expand and they change their state. Somewhere around 90 degrees Celsius or 195 degrees Fahrenheit, they actually expand into this clear liquid. And if that's isolated, you end up with just one patch where it's expanded and discolored instead of the entire screen. So in this case, whatever melted that bottom piece of the shell also melted the LCD in a way. Also, if you're still watching, you must like the content and you should consider subscribing. It's free and it really helps the channel out. If you think this can be saved, let me know in the comments below. I don't know what to do about that ribbon cable though. I think this whole thing is useless. Is Chester Cheetah domesticated? Because he can talk. Black game for the black Game Boy. Let's go. The game doesn't work? Bruh. It looks fine. The fact that it isn't garbled, like the Nintendo logo isn't garbled, but it doesn't load, makes me think the chip might be the issue. When in doubt, start with the easiest thing to deal with. That's the pins. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of deoxit and spread that across the pins. And then I found just taking a toothbrush works really well. I know some people like to use stuff that's more abrasive, or some people swear by Q-tips. I just like to use a soft bristle toothbrush with deoxit. What I do after I brush it is I take a little bit, apply it to the pins again, and then I'll put it in the Game Boy and then just work it in. And then that'll make sure that both the pins on the cartridge as well as the actual game reader have a nice layer of deoxit on them. Interesting. I have not encountered this specific issue before. I'm just gonna poke the legs on here. I'll bring you guys in nice and close. I'm gonna see if any of these are loose. Because if they are, that's my issue. See that? So both of these are not good. So I think I just need to reflow those two top right legs. I'm sure I won't struggle with this at all. I'm gonna take a very small tip on my soldering iron, and then I'm just gonna take some solder, apply it directly to the tip of my soldering iron, and let that be enough. Let's hope that works. Nah. Yes! I don't think I know how to play this. Okay, well I have no idea how to play this. But it works, and the Game Boy works, and I'm gonna call this a win, even though I'm ignoring the horizontal lines. Anyways, everything works. That's huge. Maybe it's not the prettiest screen in the world, but it's functional. And this didn't work before, and now it does, and that's a win. And then the game didn't work before, and now it does, and that's a win. So, as far as I'm concerned, nothing but victory today. That's going to do it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, and if you'd like to see more just like this, please subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.